Our water is in trouble. We're getting it dirty faster than it can clean itself. Gross! How do we get our water? How does it get dirty? How does it ever get clean? And what really happens to the water after you flush the toilet? For some answers, come with me, Stephanie Yu. Down the drain.
Time for another soggy episode of television's dampest soap opera, As the Drip Drops. Join us as we ask the question, can a young reporter find true happiness investigating water without being a drip?
There are real water problems all of us have to face. First, quantity. Sometimes there's more than enough.
Tonight's top stories. Flash flooding in Texas over the last week has taken 19 lives and destroyed property valued at more than $450 million.
Sometimes there's not enough water.
The continuing drought in the Midwest has left farmers desperate for rain as fields literally dry up and blow away.
And the second problem is quality. Sometimes we make water so dirty, other forms of life can't even survive in it.
A new report indicates that if more is not done about toxic waste entering our local waters, certain fish species may be extinct within the next...
Once again, more than 75 miles of beaches were closed by health officials today as garbage from an unknown location continued to wash ashore.
Come on in. This water's fine, but much too much of our water could be a lot better. And where would we be without water? Nowhere, that's where. No living thing can exist without it.
Did you know that your body is 2/3 water? When Mom tells you to wash behind your ears, what do you use? Sandpaper? If you didn't have water, Spot wouldn't be spotless. And you definitely would not want him to be your best friend. Without water, high divers would have nothing to dive into. Squirt guns would be useless.
I fail to see the point of this.
We couldn't cry at sad movies. And life would have no meaning for Jack and Jill.
How much water do you think it takes to wash your dinner dishes, measured in gallon bottles?
1 gallon.
A gallon?
No, 1.5 gallons. 3 gallons?
Would you believe 20 gallons? How much water do you think you use when you take a 5-minute shower?
Maybe 10 gallons. 3 gallons. 7 gallons.
Much more, up to 50 gallons. And that's just the beginning.
Welcome back to As the Drip Drops. Our pal Stephanie stays afloat just long enough to reveal the astounding properties of water. Watch if you dare.
Maybe you don't think water is such a big deal, but think about the last time you were really, really thirsty. Water was pretty important then, wasn't it?
The 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th wonder of the world. Yeah, that's good. That's right. Yes, it is a remarkable substance I have to offer you. Yes, a remarkable substance. A miracle elixir at $9 a bottle, a bargain at twice the price. Yes, sir, yes.
What are you selling?
Huh? What? Well, water, you know, the miracle of the ages.
At $9 a bottle?
Yeah.
People can just get it right out of their faucet.
Shh, kid, you'll ruin my business. Go away, you bother me. Go on, go on.
You're right about one thing, though. Water is pretty special.
Why, child, you cut me to the quick. Why, of course it's special. What do you take me for?
Do you know how special?
Well, yes, of course I do. It's clear and it's refreshing and, come on, kid, help me. I'm dying up here, huh?
Water's a lot more than that. It can exist in 3 states.
3 states? Wait a minute, let's see. Alabama, Texas, and Hawaii, right?
No.
Yeah.
Water can be a liquid, gas, steam, and a solid, ice. How about that?
Now that is not bad at all.
And
huh?
another remarkable thing is, and this is big news, ice floats. Solid water can float in liquid water.
What? I knew this. I know this. I know that.
Okay, but did you ever notice that other things don't? Watch. Here's a piece of solid wax.
I was wondering what all this stuff was for. You see, some of the pages have fallen out of my book, and I
And
I
here's
don't-
some liquid wax. I dropped the solid into the liquid.
It sinks like a stone.
Right. And here's a piece of solid oil. I dropped the solid into the liquid. Same thing. But if I take some solid water, an ice cube, and drop it into liquid water, see? It floats. Water can do this. Other things can't.
Well, that's neat, but if you don't mind my asking, what good is it?
If ice didn't float on water, if water froze and then sank, eventually all the water on the earth would freeze solid from the bottom up, and nobody could live here. Water keeps the planet from getting too cold.
Why, I never thought of that. What else can water do?
It can also hold a lot of heat. Look. Here's two pots.
Yeah.
The one without any water is burning up.
Uh-oh.
The one with the water in it is fine. While the water's in there, taking the heat, absorbing heat, boiling and turning into steam. The pot will be okay until all the water boils away.
Yeah, well, why is that such a big deal?
Think of the earth as the pot and the oceans as the water in the pot. Without the water taking the heat from the sun, our planet would be too hot for us.
How about that? Keeps the planet from getting too hot. I like it.
And there's more.
There's more?
Water also dissolves things. That's good. If it didn't, our bodies couldn't do a lot of things, like dissolve and digest food. Without it, we die.
Good grief. That's serious. You forgot something.
What?
Water makes things wet. You have made me a better salesman and a wetter person, and I thank you.
Water. 3 states. Solid, liquid, and gas. The solid can float in the liquid. Water holds heat. It dissolves things. The wet stuff is the right stuff.
Catchy. Very catchy. You want a job, kid?
In our next episode, intrepid Stephanie shows us the water cycle. We learn that it is not the kind of cycle you can pedal down to the grocery store.
Hi! Welcome to the ocean. Oh, you don't think this is the ocean? No sand, no surf, no saltwater taffy? Well, okay, you got me. But a lot of this water did come from the ocean. The fresh water we drink depends on the oceans for its very existence. It's all part of the remarkable water cycle. Maybe when you hear the story I'm going to tell, you'll think I'm all wet. But this is the absolute truth. The story of the water cycle. All the water in the world keeps on getting recycled. Every day, the ocean's salty water is heated by the sun. The salts stay behind as the water evaporates and forms clouds. Clouds that form over the ocean can travel to land. The clouds are made of water droplets that can fall as snow or rain. When it rains, some of the water falls right back into the ocean. Some falls right into our lakes, rivers, ponds, and streams. But most of the water we use falls on the ground. Some seeps down into the earth. And some runs downhill into streams, lakes, and rivers. We interrupt the natural cycle. We bring water into our houses, schools, factories, and farms. It's here that we use the water, getting it dirty. Then, after treating it, we send it right back into the natural water cycle. Eventually, the water winds up back in the ocean. Each of us becomes a part of the cycle when we tap into the water supply for our own use. This cycle is going on all the time, all over the world, day after day. How much water do you think you use when you flush the toilet?
1 gallon. A half a gallon? 3 gallons.
Each flush uses as much as 7 gallons. How much water do you think you personally use every day?
10 gallons. 12 gallons. I don't use very much water because I don't really drink it.
On average, each of us personally uses 120 gallons of water a day. Even though huge amounts of water are moving through the water cycle, only 1% of the water in the world is drinkable. The rest is in the salty oceans or frozen in glaciers and in the ice at the North and South poles. That's why we have to be so careful with it. We can't make more water. In fact, we've been using the same water over and over since time began. Just imagine, you drink the same water the dinosaurs drank.
Long ago, before music or rhyme, some say it rained for a very long time. Others say comets hit with a crash. The ice melted down and made a big splash. Dinosaurs drank it, the pharaohs drank it, Napoleon drank it, Waterloo, Pocahontas drank it, Abe Lincoln drank it, and now you're drinking it too. The water keeps going around and around, comes up from the sea and falls to the ground. Columbus drank it in 1492. Now Mom can use it to wash Sister Sue. Dinosaurs drank it, the pharaohs drank it, Napoleon drank it at Waterloo. Pocahontas drank it, Abe Lincoln drank it, and now you're drinking it too. Water can be dirty, water can be blue. It can never, 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 ever be new. No, no. Dinosaurs drank it, the pharaohs drank it, Napoleon drank it at Waterloo. Pocahontas drank it, Abe Lincoln drank it, and now you're drinking it. Now you're drinking it. Now you're drinking it too.
Our water saga continues as Stephanie explores how much trouble our piece of the water cycle can take and answers an age-old question. Where does it go after you go?
If you give it enough time, water can clean itself. But we put so much stuff into the water, it needs help to get clean. Haven't you ever wondered what happens to the water after you flush the toilet? How can we ever use it again? This is a sewer. By the time the wastewater from your house, your neighbors' houses, and the stores and schools near where you live gets here, it's really dirty. In fact, there are different kinds of dirt in the water, and to get them out, we send water to a treatment plant. Screens remove pieces of trash from the water. Then the water goes into big tanks. The gunk that sinks to the bottom is pumped out. Stuff that rises to the top is skimmed off. But there's still stuff dissolved in the water. Then air is pumped in. That helps bacteria and other microorganisms grow. They eat a lot of the stuff that's still in there. Then the water's treated with chlorine to kill any disease germs that are left. By the end of the treatment, the water's cleaner, but not clean enough to drink. It's pumped from the treatment plant into our rivers and oceans. That puts it back into the water cycle, where nature can finish the job. Nature has its own system for cleaning water. That's right. Water can clean itself. How? Here's an example, living proof. In Providence, Rhode Island, biologists have cooked up this homemade swamp that cleans up water the same way rivers and marshes naturally clean themselves. It's called solar aquatic purification. Here's wastewater that was flushed down the toilets around here. Can nature make it clean again? First, the water goes into vats filled with bacteria and algae. They eat a lot of the pollutants, just like the microorganisms in a natural swamp. By the time the water gets here, it's clear, but there's still a lot of invisible chemicals in it. These plants help take out a lot of the chemicals. Next, the water goes into these vats. There are fish, snails, and more plants. The snails chow down, the plants absorb a lot of the remaining chemicals, and the fish eat a little bit of everything. The water stays in the system for about 5 days, while nature does the dirty and clean work. The water comes out, well, not completely fine, but a lot better than it was. While the water was in all these tanks, natural processes made the water cleaner. But nature can handle only so much so fast. There's a limit, and we